Now that Trump is president, what do we do for the next 8 years? How do we spend the next 8 years? Trump did this press conference. He beat up on the press. You guys are CNN's fake news, very fake news. They talk back. He tells them to go to hell. This went back and forth. Rosie O'Donnell was so upset. Her friends had to take her down to Miami for a long weekend. So what happens? Trump does an event, and then Saturday Night Live, Jimmy Fallon, whoever, they all react on TV. They make fun of it. Meanwhile, Trump's trying to rebuild the country. So how do we spend the next 8 years? Do we watch Trump say something, and then we watch Alec Baldwin make fun of it on TV, tit for tat? We watch this for 8 years? This is not real life, what you're seeing on TV. What is real life? Well, the wave that got us this far. Conservatives put Trump in, they are riding the wave. Who's not riding the wave? Liberal voters. All right, your neighbors, your liberal neighbors. There's two types. Ignore the ones paid by George Soros. We're not trying to work with them. They're paid. So let's focus on the stupid liberals. Your stupid liberal neighbors, your stupid liberal cousin. What are we going to do the next 8 years? We're going to watch and wait? We're going to watch and wait for them to agree with us? Well, it's a little optimistic. Trump, keep in mind, Trump is a nice guy, but he's still part of the regime. Trump is in. Trump is different. I like Trump, but Trump is not the whole government. He's not the whole regime. We didn't replace Pelosi or Lindsey Graham, John McCain. They're all Chuck Schumer. They're all still there. It's still the same machine. The regime realized they almost killed their brand, the government brand. They almost lost their cushy dictatorship, where they seize half our wealth every year and destroy our currency while we work 3 jobs to keep Chuck Schumer flying in his private jets. So right before the nation rioted completely, they put in Trump. He's a happy face, he's a nice guy, and he is a nice guy. But the machine's still there, and they're just going to rape, for the next 8 years, they're going to rape us a notch less violently. All right? They're going to be a little less rough about stealing from us, looting us, robbing us, deceiving us, betraying us. All right? The rapist will put on some nice music while he rapes the country. That's it. All right? The regime can only take away from you. They can't give you anything you didn't already create because the regime has no useful skills. The government creates nothing. Their only product of the government is fear. The government creates and sells fear. So, the wave swept across the country, waking up conservatives. Obama helped a lot because he's a piece of garbage and he's in your face. So conservatives woke up, they put Trump in. But a couple things stayed the same. Like I said, the regime's still there, the Pelosi's, but the mob of liberals, there's still an angry mob of liberals. All right? They're still sabotaging you in this country behind the scenes. Now, after 4 years or 8 years of Trump, what's going to happen? Trump's temporary. The globalist Soros will rig the next election, rig it all over again, and install the new Hillary, the new Obama, whatever Muppet. So, where are we now that Trump is president? What do we do? What do we do for the next 8 years? Well, we're halfway through the wave. We don't relax like the battle is won. We need to keep the wave going. Keep the wave going. What if we could get liberals riding the wave just like conservatives are riding the wave? What if we could wake up liberals and get them on our side? Right now, the U.S. has a pack of enraged liberals. The liberals think they lost the election, so they riot, they protest, they rant and rave. I'm not talking about the paid Soros voters. I'm talking about your liberal neighbor who goes postal every time Trump opens his mouth. These liberals are programmed to help the regime, sometimes without knowing it. And they help the globalists maintain power. How did liberals get to that point? They got lied to their whole lives. We've all been lied to. But these liberals honestly believe they're correct because they fell for all the lies. Liberals got programmed like a Terminator in the movies. The regime blew trillions of dollars brainwashing liberals in school, through the TV, to follow simple orders. What's your local liberal? What's your neighbor saying? Bush is stupid, Trump is Hitler. Bush dumb, Trump Hitler. That's it. Liberals follow simple programming just like a Terminator. And when Trump gets elected and the regime gets stuck in the back seat, The globalists push the red button, and their liberal mob of terminators throws a tantrum and smashes windows. I'm talking about the unpaid, true believer liberals. They are programmed following very simple orders. Now, they're drones. The problem is there's 30 million of them. There's an army of brainwashed terminators, and when you have 30 million of anything, you've got some power. Now, Trump's been in office for a little while. Liberals are enraged, and they are highly motivated. They are screaming. They are borderline postal. They are punching folks in the streets. That sounds bad, right? But it's actually useful for us because we can wake up some. We can use some of them. Does that sound immoral, to use some of them? Well, that's how the regime's been using them for 100 years. They've been using them against you. They're already brainwashed robots. They're already getting used. Why not reprogram them against their own masters? There's an old saying, a conservative is just a liberal who got mugged. Let's show liberals that liberals got mugged. They kind of realized it when Bernie Sanders got robbed by Hillary in the primaries. They kind of realized, the liberals realized, hey, we got robbed, we got mugged. They kind of began to understand. Nobody likes to be lied to. Nobody likes to find their house broken into and their house burgled. Especially liberals who walk around calling everyone a liar, pretending they are some kind of moral authority who knows better than you. Now, historically, when communist dictators finally take power, who do they kill first? Communist dictators always kill their own followers first. They kill the true believers first. They kill most of them. They send some to the gulag. But why kill your own followers? Isn't that a bad policy? Not at all. Those followers believed communism would lead them to paradise. They thought if they fell in with the communists, there would be puppies and rainbows, and everyone would have a unicorn. Now, when the communist dictator finally takes power and his wide-eyed believers look around, they don't see utopia. What do they see? They see starvation, crumbling towns, folks getting rounded up, people getting dragged out of their houses and beaten by the police. That's a little different from puppies and rainbows. So these wide-eyed believers revolt with rage. They realize, wow, we got used, we got lied to, we got scammed, we were living a lie. But in America, they're not killing liberals yet. So what can we do? Well, we can flip those liberals and use them. Remember, liberals are nothing more than programmed drones. In the first Terminator movie, Arnold Schwarzenegger was a bad Terminator. But in the sequel, Terminator 2, what happened? The good guys captured a Terminator and reprogrammed the bad Terminator, changing the bad Terminator into a good Terminator. The good guys turned this good Terminator, they sent it back against the bad guys who built the Terminator in the first place. Now, that's a problem for the bad guys, since just like liberals, Terminators never back off. They only know how to attack. So just like Arnold in Terminator 2, sometimes we can reprogram a liberal and turn him against his own masters. This way the screaming liberal works for us now, and we deploy him into the field to thwart the army of brainwashed liberals. So, I know what you're wondering. How in the world do we reprogram a liberal? Well, that's easy. Remember those true believers who Joseph Stalin had to kill because they woke up about communism? Well, as they woke up and realized they'd been scammed, they went postal. Some of them went kamikaze. That's where this liberal mob in America is right now. Again, I'm not talking about the paid Soros protesters. Put them aside. They're not going to agree with you ever because they're paid to riot. That's what they're paid to do. I'm talking about the unpaid protesters. Now, these liberal drones have been lied to so deeply their whole lives that the slightest pinprick can burst their bubble. They're surrounded by truth floating by their head in all directions, and keeping that truth away from their programming, from their brain, it's getting harder and harder. It takes constant energy and vigilance. Now, what if a liberal sees this photo? This Sandy Hook photo of the Hollywood actor David Wheeler playing two different roles in the Newtown, Connecticut school shooting hoax. What if a liberal sees this? What happens in the liberal's mind? Well, the liberal has to either completely block it out, call you crazy, which most of them do, but occasionally you find a liberal who sees this comparison and says, wow, that's David Wheeler on the left playing sloppy sniper at Newtown, and that's also David Wheeler, the same guy, on the right, playing grieving father of a fake child who got fake murdered at Newtown. Now, for the occasional liberal, they will realize something's up. They might think you're trying to trick them. They might think you went into Photoshop and you photoshopped this. They're gonna know something's up, and their first person they're gonna point the finger at is you. Okay, that's okay because you have a tough skin. But they're gonna realize something's up. Now, what if the liberal sees this? Neither of the terrorists at the Boston Hoaxathon is carrying a black backpack. FBI announced the bombs were carried in black backpacks. The court transcript says the two backpack bombs were held in black backpacks. But then the FBI releases this video on TV asking for your help identifying these two terrorists. And neither one is carrying a black backpack. So what do they have to do with bombing the Boston Hoaxathon? This is just one example. Sandy Hook is just one example. There's hundreds of these bubble-bursting examples at your fingertips. It only takes one pinprick to burst a liberal's bubble. And if you think you hate getting lied to, just wait till you see a liberal's whole world collapse from one picture. It's good old-fashioned fun. Now, don't try to convince or persuade the liberal. Just pick your favorite visual proof and accidentally, on purpose, let a liberal see it. Whoops! Oh, did I leave that up on my computer screen? Oh, whoops! Yeah, that's the FBI surveillance video from Boston Marathon showing neither terrorist carrying those infamous black backpacks. Oh well, la-di-da, what are you having for lunch? They just changed the subject. Put it in front of them, and then just talk about something else. After you've shown a few liberals, you'll get one who takes the bait. You've injected a truth virus into their brain, and it will nag the liberals' programming. What has been seen cannot be unseen. Now, some liberals, many, are virus-proof, but some will get nagged by the truth and start asking questions. They realize something's up. I'm a very cynical person, as you know, so I figured no way is that liberal ever going to wake up. But then my friend calls me, like, yeah, I told so-and-so about that false flag, and I showed him a couple things, and now he knows something is up. And I'm just plain dazzled that my friend made an impact. So maybe you're going to be even better at this than me. People are waking folks up one by one. This is an untapped army of liberals out there. Enraged, they are poised to wake up. They are standing on the edge of the cliff, ready to make the leap. Now that conservatives, let's pretend conservatives are half the country. That leaves the other half of brainwashed liberal terminators. Every day that passes, those terminators work against you. But if you can wake up one of them, one liberal terminator, and send him back into the field, he will fight against his masters. He will wake up other liberals because he cannot unknow what he now has been awakened and shown. So you've sent a weapon of truth out into the field who will fight for you and for America without sometimes even realizing what he's fighting for. That is a force multiplier. You cannot be in 6 places at once. But if you wake up 5 liberals, you are in 6 places at once. Subscribe to Barry Soetoro channel. Share this segment. Check out the links below.